So the next step is to create the actual ticket or list, as we call them as well. You can do this in a few different ways, but the most easy way will be the button on the top right corner, just plus list. An alternative method is to create from share code, which we will cover in a later video. First, press the button. From here, we can give it a name. So for this one, let's create a ticket support list, right? So let's call this ticket support. That's fine. Let's also see if we can have some kind of emoji, something like an email or something like that. Let's see, what could we do? Let's grab this one. That's good to go. The list code allows us to search for this specific list inside of the tickets API. And so that is also something that we will cover in a later video. But for now, make it a really easy one to search by. So let's say tickets or support, whatever you like to, right? So that is step 2. The next step is whether or not you want to have this list live. Let's just keep it live. You can also toggle it off and it will be basically on a draft version. The next part is hide all items view. So within the view section, where we will get to in the next video, you will be able to create different kinds of views, but there's also an all items view that everyone can access regardless of their permissions. So if you don't want the LiveChat agent, the supervisor, or the member to have access to that all items view, you can disable them here. I will just keep them all unchecked. And we are not going to create a template or use a template because we are going to create our own list. Once ready, just press create. And then the list will show up in this list overview. We can also share this, but we will cover that in a later video. For now, we're going to set up the fields because in order to create a ticket, we also need some input fields to create a ticket on, right? So that is something that we can do. Before that, there's also some editing options where you can change the name of the list itself. You cannot change the list code because that is fixed now inside the database. But the name, basically the display name, can be changed. You can also put it on hold, so in draft mode, and you can also adjust the all items view for the different kinds of permissions if you want to, and then update everything. So let's get towards the fields. For the fields, you can see that we already have a few preset values. You can delete them if needed. Let's go over them. So the one that is needed is the first one on the list. You cannot delete that, and that is basically the text value for title. You can rename this if you like to. So let's say for list, let's say ticket name, maybe. Well, let's say issue. And let's call this issue as well, but then with a capital letter. As you can see, it will be visible on create and also required on create. Then we come towards the next step, which will be description and description. We can just copy that over because the ticket will also need some more description to notify more about the issue, right? And we're also going to require this on create. We can also press the 3 dots on the right hand side, and you can then move it down or move it up, and that will also display in the order when creating the ticket, right? So if we say move down, then you can see that the description is being moved down, and once moved up, it will then be moved up, and the bot user will be pressed down. The bot user, that is something that we could use as well. I think, yeah. So let's leave that in because when a ticket is created, it's also good to have the bot user in place. Unless we have a different kind of field. No, that's fine. The agent, the assignee is important, right? And then we can add some more additional fields. So you already saw me looking at the add system fields where you can have created by, last edited by, created at, updated at, email, phone number, assigned agent, lead source, lead status, department, interest, and market. Those are the system fields. Then you also have some custom fields at your disposal. And the first one, select one, is just out of sight the recording area, but it is there. Select one, select two, all the way up to 5. Then 2 dates, 2 decimals, 2 numbers, 2 ratings, and then 5 text fields at your disposal to add towards your total number of lists. So let's see what else would we need for creating a ticket, right? So we now have the issue, we have the description, we have the bot user, the assignee, and if I take a look at the platform itself, then we also might need another input. So let's add a few fields. Let's do a created ad field. That's fine. Created ad. That seems good. Okay. A created ad is fine. I will leave it as is. Then from the system fields, last edited, that's not really needed. Email, updated. You could do an updated status if you like to. I will leave it out. Assigned agent we already have, right? This is the assigned agent. Yeah. Let's do a few custom fields as well. We have the name, the description, bot user, assignee, created ad. Well, let's also do the email because maybe not all agents are going to reply by this ticket system, but maybe by email instead, just in case. And again, we can move this up to the desired location. We can just move it like this really, really easily. So the top few input fields will be the user input fields, and then we will have some system fields. I think that's good to go. Oh, no, I want to have a select field. And the select field here will be, let's see, how are we going to call this? This will be priority. Because I also would like to be able to basically see the priority, right? And let's call this priority. And the great thing with dropdowns is you can also add some categories to them. And you can do that by using the gear icon. So in this case, we have the priority. So gray would be the first color. Let's do orange for, well, actually, let's do blue for low. Priority low as option code, and then with capital for the name. So that's one. Then we would have orange for medium priority, and let's also do let's see, medium as a capital, and then the last one will be high, right? Well, we could do high and then even critical. So let's do high would be purple. Let's say high, and this will be high. And then for the last one, we are going to use pink. For shame that there is no red, but that's fine. Let's say critical. And let's do all lower capitals here. And then let's use one capital letter here, critical. There we go. Add option. And default will be just set to low. Let's close this. So now we have the priority, and we can now also add another input field, select two, if it were, and we can use this to call it, let's see, let's call this progress or status, right? So let's call this status. And then we also need to save it. Yes. And I did not do so with the top one, so be sure to save it, right? So here I want to have issue. Let's save this. Save. Perfect. And this is all good. We could go with description. It's fine. We can go with email here. And this will be, we can, if we don't fill in anything, it will get the preset value. So we can leave as is. And then for this one, we will get status. We'll add a few statuses. So the first one will be, let's say, well, it can be gray, and let's say status new, and we could say new ticket, add option. And we can also make this a little bit different like this. We could say in progress would be in underscore progress would be orange, progress. And then the last one would be green, and that is completed. Or let's say resolved, right? Because we are using tickets, let's say resolved. There we go. Add option. And then by default, it will be a new ticket, just as easy. And then we can close this. Perfect. So I think we have a new enough fields now. So let me get my head out of the way so we can close the actual fields. In the next video, we're going to cover views, because views allows us to see the tickets or the lists in different kinds of perspectives. And that helps into understanding more about the details on a ticket in this case, or a sales pipeline and such.